Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. What is happening? Sean here from the SpursTalkShow. Hope everyone's doing well. Just taking a bit of an evening stroll tonight. And just got back from the vets with Bugsy Malone. And she's going to have to go on some treatment for phantom pregnancies and depending on how that works, we'll have to do some behavioural stuff maybe, because she's become a little bit difficult over the last week. Completely out of character. She's not the only one. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to ask you guys, just while I'm taking this little wander, a question that's, I guess, is kind of related to the Levy debate, but I think it's also just a curious one for me that I want to put out there to see how, you know, the people that watch the channel feel, right? And the question is, what does success look like to you as an individual, right, in life? A lot of people judge success by how much money you have, right, how high up the career ladder you got, or you are, you know, whether you have material wealth. Not everyone thinks that. A lot of people think that stuff is irrelevant and that success is about finding happiness or peace or purpose. And so I guess to everyone it's an individual thing and a personal thing. And I'm curious to know how everybody feels about what the success determination is for Tottenham Hotspur. You know, a lot of people that are, let's call it, Levy sympathizers, Isnt sympathizers, they would say that yes, it's a frustration that we haven't won trophies, but trophies aren't everything. I'm someone who falls under that category. People that are on the trophies are everything side probably use that in the main part to justify why they hate Daniel Levy and Isnt and they want them out of the club, because we've only won one trophy in 2 decades and counting, and you know, that's unacceptable for a club like Tottenham Hotspur, a club that we all love. And I get it, right? I understand if that is what your determination of success is, then I understand why you feel the way you do. And if it's not all important, all encompassing, the only thing that matters to you, then I understand why you might look into other areas to analyse and to have a different view on the ownership or the players or the team itself, the club. But let me ask you, like, if you are on the side where trophies are all that matters, then if Tottenham were to go and win a cup double next year, let's say we get kicked out of the Champions League and manage to go all the way in the Europa League and we win the Carabao Cup, but we also lose the FA Cup and we finish 7th in the league for whatever reason, is that a successful year? And does that also mean that because we've then won 3 trophies in 22 years that we're no longer trophyless, and that as a consequence the Levy debate is done? I'm curious. I would imagine that they would say probably not, right? I would say it would be a step in the right direction, but it's not something that's going to eradicate the last 20 years of frustration. But I'm curious to know, if you are on that side or if you're not, what does a successful year next year in terms of trophies, how does that change and adapt the Isnt argument? Some people would say, if you're going to be consistent, then we've won trophies, that surely should force your hand to have a different opinion. Let me ask you this as well. more importantly, I think this is probably a better question to ask. Was last season a failure at Tottenham Hotspur? Did we fail last year because we didn't win a trophy? Judging by the fan reactions when we got to the Champions League, I would say you'd be pretty harsh to call that a failure of a season. But if trophies are all that matter, then it's another failure, right? Another failure. Last question I'll ask you. What would you rather happen this season? Would you rather outcome A, Spurs win the Carabao Cup final, we lose in the quarterfinals or the semi-finals of the Champions League and the FA Cup, but we finish 8th, right, out of Europe, but we have won the Carabao Cup, so you got your trophy? Or would you rather us finish 2nd in the league and get to the final of the Champions League, the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup and lose all of them on penalty shootout? Still no trophies, but about as close as you could possibly get. Which outcome would be more exciting for you? Which would you reflect on and think was a better season, a more successful season? Because I know which one I'd want. I personally would want option B. If we can run a team like Manchester City all the way and get beaten, and if we can have 3 deep runs into the various cup competitions, that to me would be another year of progress, a super exciting season, sure with a hell of a lot of heartbreak, but I'd much rather that than see us struggle in the league for 38 games and finish 8th or 9th and then win the Carabao Cup, lift the cup, put it in a trophy cabinet somewhere, close the door and then move on. I'd love to know what you guys think about that. I'd love to know what the players would prefer, because I think that's probably, whatever your decision would be, probably would be the determination of whether you're on the Levy, where you sit on the Levy or the Isnt spectrum. And like I say, for me, football isn't about only winning. It's about the memories. It's about the emotion. It's about the camaraderie. It's about feeling a part of something. It's also about the journey. You know, for me, if you win a cup, like I said, you put it in the cabinet, close the window, and then you start again. So you get a momentary high, like a drug or something. And then the next day you're back to work. For me, the journey is an ever changing, ever moving, ever evolving path that has no end. And trophies are important. I'm not saying they're not important, but they're not the only thing that matters for me. And I'm just curious to know, as we approach, what are we, 10 days away? 10 days away from the first game of the season. I'd love to know what you guys think about the word success when it comes to Tottenham. What are your priorities and why? I'd love to develop the argument or the conversation, because I think a lot of the divisiveness and the different opinions that are so staunchly embedded with indelible marks are probably simply because of what some people think success looks like, that is entirely different to what other people do. Just my thoughts for the night, guys. Looking forward to seeing you all very soon. Love you. Like, share and subscribe. And as always, guys, bye bye.